Well, welcome back everybody to Motorsport Manager, the single season playthrough. Sorry it's been a little while for any videos really, and for this series, and for missing the live stream yesterday. Haven't been feeling too brilliant the last few days. Still not feeling great today, but I want to get an episode out for you guys. A lot of changes happening to Motorsport Manager as well. The new DLC, the Challenge Pack, has just been released. And there's also a free DLC, as there was when the GT series was released last time, making quite a few changes to the game as well. I do also have a new mic. Let me know if the audio balance is okay, if you can tell the difference. My voice is still a little bit croaky, so whether this will use the full effect of the new mic in this condition, I don't know. But we'll see. Let's get on with it. But I don't know how many changes will show up in the career mode. Obviously the challenge pack, I will be doing a overview of that and of the changes. I'll probably do a gameplay and impressions video, same as I did with the GT series, just outlining what I think, what I find from the new DLC and the changes from the free LC later in the week, probably a couple of days time once I've had some time with them. And the challenge mode, I was either going to do that as a live stream going through those, or I could do that as a Let's Play series. Let me know what you guys would prefer if you want to see some of that. So a few just the basic changes that I will go over that I think will show up. We've got the run wide and corner cutting now. It means that our drivers and the AI could potentially buckle under pressure and run wide or cut corners. It doesn't specify whether cutting corners will give you a penalty, but I presume it will, or a certain number of them will. You can also strip the weight now off parts for a small performance increase, but it does mean they will lose some reliability in doing so. So I was just going to take a look. I think we actually need to wait until we go over a step, go a few days forward till it's repaired. It says you can do that for the practice race and qualifying, so it might be something we can only do once we actually start a race weekend. And do you know what? Out of all these changes, the thing that I'm most excited about is something that I've been asking for a mod for ages, which is you can now zoom all the way in to the cars. So all these livery changes and sponsors and stuff actually can be shown up in game. I presume. I haven't actually tried it yet, but I'm presuming we can now zoom all the way up. That's what it says. I've got that enabled in the preferences menu as well. That's where you need to turn it on if you want that, by the way. So if we look at improving parts, yeah, so we can't actually change the shaving parts off and stuff here, so that must be done in a weekend. There's lots of other changes. One other interesting one I was going to go over was if a driver is injured now, you can now choose to have them sit out the race and put your reserve driver in, and they will actually recover from their injury quicker, and the reserve driver will then go in for the weekend. You could kind of manipulate that anyway. Actually, I think it was just practice and qualifying. I didn't think you could do it for the race, so that now enables you to put the reserve driver in if your one of your main drivers has a big accident or gets injured. So that's quite a nice little feature, and a bunch of AI tweaks and stuff. The biggest one that I don't think we'll see is realistic AI game preference. If enabled, AI teams make smarter decisions on when to pit during races and adapt to wet weather conditions more effectively. From what I've seen, this effectively has to be enabled as you start a new game. So, seems a bit of a red herring, because that's just improving the AI. Why you should have to enable that, I don't know. But to be honest, I'm probably going over this a bit too much. Wait for my gameplay impressions and I'll go into detail as to what these are. Give me a few days to get my voice back and play the game a bit more, and we'll go from there. But let's get on with today's episode, shall we? So we got a couple of sponsor offers. I should wait a couple of days, I think, before we make another one. Now, our bank balance isn't looking too healthy at the moment. I'm just going to take a look into this. So we're currently losing £3,000 per race, which we weren't. So I'm trying to work out where this extra... Okay, so we lost 1.6 million from a dilemma. I don't think that was the main problem. Next year's car, we're spending 4 million. Car parts 4.9. Per race. Sponsorship is just 600,000. So yeah, I think it's because we've lost this other sponsor is why we're now losing money. So that should come back once we get another sponsor. I think we're going to have to hold off putting a new part on the card just for the moment. Now, of course, we were 7th and 8th last time out. Really so unlucky. We don't get any points for 7th or 8th, but the car is still looking competitive, which is good news. Now, I think we can finally start switching onto performance. We need to work on the reliability of that front wing, which we will do. I think I'll switch over that rear wing to that new front wing. And we will start working on performance on the 2 gearboxes and the 2 new front wings, I think. And then we can switch that over. Reliability, everything's pretty good. Everything's 70% or above, which we need to start working to get a bit higher, but we can now start prioritising on performance a bit more. Let's put that back to 1010. Just make sure we got these two the right way around. We do. And we can continue them. Yeah, I've had a bad case of the old man flu the last few days. It's not lasted too long, thankfully. I'm feeling a bit better today, but had to be this week, didn't it? Motorsport Manager, new DLC, new free LC at the beginning of the week, and F1 2017, which I've got a lot to prepare for the end of the week. So, perfect timing, but hey-ho. At least I'm not one of these guys doing it full-time. It's just a hobby. Hope you guys understand if I miss the occasional few videos here or there, the occasional live stream. Right, now this is quite an important one, I feel. What's the other offer? Second, first, yes. So we're never going to really get first or second. That's 5th or above. So this is the position that we can realistically aim for each race. So I feel 400,000 and 10th or above. 14th or above would be almost, you'd like to think, a guaranteed 150,000 per race. But 10th or above is a good aim, and 400,000 would be nice. And this gives us 800,000 up front, which the other two don't. So I think we'll go with Gustavo Cruises. I thought that said Gestapo then. Right, that's it, my video flagged. Nobody wants Gestapo Cruises. You're not going to have much fun there. And these are positions that we're never ever going to achieve really at the moment. So I would just take the biggest upfront payment, which is from Northern Harbour, and that's 1.2 million in the bank. Right, I want to see if we can just make a profit in the next race. So I won't spend that money immediately on new parts. I'll see how we get on the next race. It's quite a while till we get some more sponsors renewed as well. So we'll see how we get on. Also need to start talking a little bit slower just to help maintain my voice today. Okay, let's continue. Still got a long old time till the next race. I've been blabbering on a lot today. Let me know as well in the comments what you guys, if any of you have played with the new features or the new challenge mode. Let me know what you think, how you've been finding it. Be interesting to see your thoughts as well. I haven't really got into the challenges yet. I shall be doing so a little bit for fun tonight, and then I'll start trying to record some stuff for the impressions tomorrow. Right, I'm going to switch off these brakes and go to that suspension is a little bit weak. We'll switch that rear wing to that rear wing. I think we'll switch that front wing to the gearbox because that's pretty important. None of these performances are anywhere near maxed out. This is the thing, we haven't been working on performance at all yet this season. So there's quite a lot of performance to be gained just from the parts we've already got. Which, considering we raced to 7th and 8th, not pretty comfortably, but you know, we were there on pace, we were there on merit last time. So these performance issues should help us out a bit. I really hate this dilemma. I mean, a freaking birthday party. I mean, are they not getting paid enough? I mean, sure, I don't want to lose morale, but it's a really bitchy one. It's like, how needy, how much to the stereotype do you want to be on this? Formula 1 drivers, you need to throw them. I've seen teams throw them parties, like when they have it over the race weekend. They just get them a cake and get some of the other drivers around. I mean, come on, it's not really £100,000 worth of party, is it? Okay, I think we've got a vote coming up on suspension, spec suspension. Now this would help us out. And I think we're definitely going to be here for next season. This is one less thing for us to develop, and therefore one less thing that the top teams are going to be able to use their money and resources for. So I'm kind of for this. We got 4 points available. I'm going to go 2. There's quite a few against though. Do we make sure that we get this? Because I think 3 will hopefully be enough. Oh, it wasn't enough. Ah, shit. Even if I'd used 4 though, to be fair, we still would have been 1 behind. That's a shame, because I feel that would have helped us out next season. Just a little bit of money we didn't need to spend. But hey ho, we'll deal with it. We're racers. There's very few formulas that have spec parts in this world. Okay, we're ready for the race weekend then. So we will go for 10th or above with Gustavo Cruises. I'm just gonna keep thinking Gestapo with that. I don't know why. And I don't think... Oh, we got this new front wing. 67%. It's actually better than our old one anyway, so we'll give that to Dreyfus. I'm happy to use that. And everything else is the same as last time. Right, I shall get practice underway then. Drink some water to get my voice back to normal. As much as I can be. And be back with you for qualifying. Okay, we're into qualifying then. Practice went pretty well. 96% on both cars. And now we can see for the first time that extra little bit of zoom. It's not quite as far as I'd hoped. That's most likely because of the textures on the car. Maybe don't show up quite as well at close range. Which is fair enough, I guess. It is a bit closer, which I like. You can make out the sort of definition of the livery, which is quite cool. It's only really when you change it. When you change it at the beginning of each season and you see your cars hit the track for the first time, it's nice to be able to zoom in and see your new livery with your new sponsors on track. There was another little change I saw to the tyre heats, but we can't see it in qualifying. They basically seem to have reduced the bar a little bit. So you've now got hot, a middle zone, and cold, rather than the temperature related. So I think it's going to make it a bit easier to spot when they're in that working range. But we'll see that in the race. But anyway, Dreyfus has crossed the line with a 107.6, Echo with a 107.7. Again, we'll be looking at sort of 13th, 14th, just at the top of that rear group of cars will be nice. At the moment, we are heading for the bottom of the field, though. Yes, we are very much last at the moment. We will make it just 2 runs, so I shall wait till we get a bit later in the session when the track grip goes up. At the moment, though, 18th and 20th. We're not really developing the car too aggressively at the moment, so I wouldn't be too surprised. I also concentrated in practice on just the race trim and the super softs, so we actually have no bonuses for this session at all, which could make that little bit of difference to get that 13th, 14th spot. But at the moment we are actually around about half a second off it though. It's going to be very tricky for our drivers to improve by that much. If they can get a couple more positions though, it will always help. So we'll give it another minute or so. Okay, let's send them out for their second runs. Probably could wait a little bit longer, but let's be honest, it's not going to make that much difference. Just keep on board. I wonder if we see any mistakes. It's probably more race craft or during the race that we're going to see these cut corners and lock-ups. I'm just a little bit worried about their randomness, about how they come in. It should be related to drivers' stats, and it says it's when they're under pressure, which I guess is when it happens. But if your driver's stats are good enough, it doesn't say anywhere how it relates to their stats, so I'm a little bit worried about how it's... Dreyfus does 107.3, Eka a 106.9. So Dreyfus improves a little bit, stays 20th. Eka a big improvement and goes 14th. That's a good lap from her. But yeah, it should really be related to their stats. If they've got like good consistency or good focus or whatever the stat that should relate to it, then they shouldn't crack even when they're under pressure. So I'm a little worried about how random it's going to be, but I guess we'll find out only after quite a few races to get an average of it. Okay, so it's going to be 20th and 14th on the grid. Looks like a nice dry race. So hopefully we can make up some positions. Right, so here's that weight stripping then. So let's have a look at it, shall we? Again, I'll probably go into more depth into in the overview of this. So dropping it 1 takes 5% off reliability and plus 15 to performance. Plus 30, 45, plus 60 takes 20% off. So I feel this is going to be really useful when you max out your parts. It is quite a big improvement. I don't think you can be done as in rule breaking by doing this. Now I'll go into this again in much more detail in the overview, but I feel these are all they're incredibly unrealistic things. The weight saving is done in the redesign of parts. That's what you'll be getting the extra performance. If you're redesigning, I guess, a brake or a rear wing, weight saving will be something that's sort of tied into making the part. Do they really? I really don't think in any form of motorsport they're going to be shaving bits off the front wing or the suspension. I mean, what do you shave off a suspension? Like bits of the spring? Anyway, our reliability isn't too great. I don't want to risk anything, so we're going to leave that for now. One interesting thing, the engine, which is a stock part, we can actually improve the performance there. So that might be something we could get up to 100% pretty quickly. And then by dropping 20%, we'd get plus 60, which would bring it back to 80% reliability. So I can see the use of it. We're not going to do anything just yet. We've also got an overall weight slider, which just does... okay, it does it as like a blanket change. So we could change in 450, but look at the reliability loss. But I can see that's a big performance gain. So it's a tool that could be used, but only when used rightly. And I don't want to tamper with it too much until I've got a bit more practice and research on it. Okay, let's get going then. Super soft and race trim are the two things we worked on. Engine should be okay with reliability, so I'm going to keep these performance increases on. I want the car to be as quick as possible today, and just see if we can outrace the competition again like we did last time. So I'm going to start both cars on the super softs because that's where we've got the performance boost. And remember, we don't have to use both compounds in this. I don't even think that is a rule in the game. I keep saying I'm going to check that, but I never do. So we could just do the whole race on super softs, which might not be a bad idea. So I'm going to put 15 laps of fuel in both cars, and we're going to start both cars on the super softs. And go a little bit for the long run, but I think the performance increase that we get on the super softs will be similar to other cars on the ultra softs. So I feel super softs will be our best race tyre. And we'll go push and height, and we'll get underway then for race number 5 of this season. We can zoom in nice and close for the race start here, and we are underway. Eka's made a pretty good start. Oh, and there's the first big accident that we've seen from the mistakes. 3LC then. And just a ball of smoke as there was an instant into turn 1. And you know what? Already I love this, because that is something you never saw in this game. Big accidents into turn 1, which are so often the place where mayhem happens in motorsport. And 3 cars there going off in a big puff of smoke. And it means that Dreyfus has been promoted in all of that chaos to 15th. Eka is still in 13th. You can see here the change graphic I was talking about in tyre temps. So you've got sort of a sweet spot in the middle, that line. And then you've got two little zones either side of it, which I presume are safe. And then you've got hot and cold, the two little zones either side of it. Now, one thing I don't like is that the cars that were down the back have already caught up the back of the field inside of a lap. That seems a little unrealistic to me. But that's what I'm a little worried about, is that these changes to the mistakes and corner cutting, etc. are... We're going to go back to medium and neutral, by the way, just to look after the cars in this first half of the race. And we're going to go up to speed 2. I'm just a little worried that it's going to be artificial, especially the way the cars are coming back. It's like they're getting extra speed just so that they can catch back up after their mistakes. That shouldn't be how it is. John Stottier did 1:15 behind us. Behind Dreyfus, catching up the pack. That seems very quick to me. Especially as John Stottier is on super softs, not ultra softs. But anyway, we will see how it develops over the course of a season after a few races. And let's just concentrate on this race today. Neither of the mistakes were made by our two drivers, although Dreyfus has now dropped back down to 19th. And is under pressure from John Stottier. Eka just about getting away at the front of this pack. I think you can zoom out a bit more as well, it seems. So I think they've extended the zoom either way, which is quite nice as they go behind the stadium there. And yeah, we'll just have to see how we get on. Tyres overheating here, so I'm going to go back to conserve. Just keep them in good stead. Looks like no threat of rain throughout this race. So there's a potential to maybe do a one stop on the super softs, or maybe a two stop on the super softs and then a set of ultra softs are the two strategies. Whether I might do 3 stints on the super softs because of our bonuses, I can't be sure just yet. So Dreyfus has finally been overcome by John Stottier. He's now trading around at the back of the pack. Eka doing fairly well, up in 14th, holding her own. She was much quicker in qualifying. It is nice to see the cars up close. I am a little bit disappointed at how low res they are, but considering how high res the rest of it is, but you know, they're not a massive studio with massive resources, so could be asking a lot to get the performance. And of course they want to make it accessible. These kind of management games want to be accessible to them as many as possible, hence them adding that 2D earlier in the year. Right, we've got a safety car. I think Dreyfus is struggling. She's 19th. I think we definitely pit Dreyfus on super softs. We put a bit more fuel in the car. No repairs needed at this time, and it'll be under the safety car, so let's go for a safe pit stop. And she's just got past the safety car, thankfully. Do we pit Eka as well? I think it's a good time to do so. And I think it could mean that we only have to do one more stop after this. So I feel it's worth doing. So let's go again, 15 laps into Eka. We'll keep it on safe. My thinking here is we're pretty near the back of the pack anyway. If we put fresh tyres on, yeah, a lot of the grid are going to come in anyway. Loads of positions. Any positions gained from staying out, we're just going to lose almost straight away again. Dreyfus obviously held up in the pits, but at the end of the day, she was in 19th anyway. John Stottier was the car that actually crashed. And what's interesting there is John Stottier was also the car that went off at the first corner. So whether she is a driver that's particularly susceptible to going off, and that's going to be a trend we're going to see now for the rest of the season, we shall have to keep an eye on that. We will save some fuel. We shall stay on low, as the safety car will come in this lap then. Dreyfus just about catches the back of the pack in time. We'll go back to medium and neutral for the restart. And we are underway once again as we go back down to 2-speed. Dreyfus making up a position into turn 1, although she immediately loses that. And we will have to see if we can make any progress. There were 2 cars that didn't pit, Batista and Rodriguez. I feel everybody else is going to make one more stop in this race, so I don't think we've gained a pit stop from doing that, just kept up with the crowd. So it's going to be very tricky for our 2 drivers to go forward at this point. The only thing we might have to our benefit is we can maybe use the ultra softs at the end and be a little bit quicker. Even with those boosts, you would imagine the ultra softs should be just a tad quicker on raw speed. If we can get sort of lap 24, 25, maybe a little bit earlier, then we should be good till the end. I don't know how well these tyres are going to last though. We're already down to 83%. We are falling off the back of the pack a little bit here. We have got some fuel to use, so I might start using that a little bit. Just gonna got a few new slots here as well. We got a mini tyre history, a live teams championship standings, and a live driver standings. You had to go into little menus to get that information before. So that's nice change to the UI for that being brought up. Right, so a lot of the AI are actually backing up on these tyres. I'm going to go to conserve. I don't think we need to go quite as far as back up. But obviously tyre wear is proving a big problem for everybody today. So we'll keep an eye on what everybody else is doing. It does look like this is a race to save your tyres as much as possible. If we can get away with keeping it on conserve, Eka seems to be coming back at the field a little bit. So hopefully we can make a bit more progress. There's a bit of a train forming into the final few corners. And Eka now looking to make a move into turn 1. Doesn't quite make it stick. But we're certainly not falling off the pack. We were a little bit to begin with. We're coming back into this race now. And now we've gone to conserve. Our tyres coming back into the working range. And all the AI have now gone back up in their tyre settings, so they were obviously just cooling it down after going hard for the first few laps after the safety car, and now the pack is moving away again. So that is the difference. I guess we should go back to neutral to try and keep up then. So we're at 66%. I do think we'll easily make it for just a 1 stop to finish the race then. The choice is going to be whether to go with the ultra softs or the super softs. We could split the strategies with our 2 drivers being so close together, just so we get the best of both worlds. A few cars coming into the pits now. Also got this little symbol here showing that the car is being repaired, so that is new as well. Lots of little tweaks and changes which I like. Ribeiro and Lundvik have come in and they are also getting repairs done, so it's nice to be able to see that. I think our cars should be perfectly okay till the end of the race. A few little worries on the front wing and the suspension on Dreyfus's car, but we should be fine. I'm going to go back to conserve just to make sure we get the extra life out of these tyres, because we're starting to overheat them again. And I'm just going to relax a little bit for a few laps. Sarah's going to have this nice, easy first video back on my voice, but gone straight back into super hyper commentating mode. So a lot of cars have made their second stop onto the super softs. They will easily get to the end of the race, but it's just what we do now with our 2 drivers. Ultra softs we're going to need to get to at least lap 24, I would say, to be 100% they'll get to the end. I think Eka is the most likely. She's got a little bit of life left in her tyres. So whether we pit Dreyfus a little bit earlier. The only thing is the later we go with these 2, the fresher their tyres will be at the end of the race. but they will also lose that advantage now whilst everybody else is quicker. And Dreyfus getting very annoyed with Milovic ahead of her. Milovic was coming out of the pits, so she can't be too complaining, to be honest. Right, I think we will bring Dreyfus in this lap for a fresh set of super softs. Should easily get to the end on that. We'll put 9.5 laps of fuel in so we can push a little bit. Suspension and front wing, a little bit worrying, but should be okay. We'll go back to balanced as we're now in a race situation. And then we'll see if Eka can go a few more laps on these tyres and go to the ultra softs. Where will Dreyfus come back out then? It's a good pit stop. We will go neutral and high as we come back out in 15th. Not too bad. She's gained a few positions there, and those extra laps out do seem to have done us good. Oh, safety car. Safety car. Right, we will... Oh, we've just missed that pit lane opportunity. But I don't think the safety car has come back out yet, so we should be okay. So she can put the ultra soft tyres on them. How is that engine and gearbox looking? Not brilliant. I don't want to put too much extra fuel in then. Maybe just an extra lap that we can use. Do we take this opportunity to just make those repairs? Just make the car as quick as possible. Do we take a risk on this? I could just go crazy, because this will improve the performance massively. But it's a minute lap, so she might be lapped. In fact, she will be lapped. No. Let's just take it easy today. But I think that is something we need to consider in future, because it will affect the performance as well, getting those repairs done. Right, so a lot of cars coming into the pits. Dreyfus gets promoted to 3rd. We're going to save those fuel and back up on the tyres. Be interesting to see where Eka comes back out. This could benefit her, because everybody else will be going at more reduced speed. Need this pit stop to be slick then. Oh, there's a mistake in the pit stop. Oh, it's cost her 8 seconds. And that's the difference. I mean, she comes back out in 7th, but she may well have been in 4th, 5th or 6th. We will go to low and back up. Someone is going to be getting a few stern words in the pit lane after this race. But we're looking good. We're looking good. I'm going to go back to medium. No, we're going to go low and we're going to go neutral on tyres. Just to try and get these tyre temps back up. They plummeted a bit too much. So Eka is in a good position. She's in 7th on ultra softs and can really go at it until the end of the race. Right, push high, push high. Let's go for this, peeps. Eka up into that crucial 6th position. She needs to try and hold on to this. She's going to make a move for 5th into the hairpin. Left-hand hairpin. She makes it stick up into 5th position then. Those two cars she got past were on super softs. So that could be the tyres making the difference right there. Dreyfus struggling a little bit more to get through the field, but she's actually up to 9th now. And I'm a little worried about tyre temps on Eka, so we'll go back to neutral. She seems to have the measure of those cars behind, but of course it could come back to them as the tyres wear down. So we need to look after the tyres as well as attempt to go after that 4th place. But 5th place would be pretty damn great. Right, suspension issues for Eka. This is the thing, if we got them repaired, we might not have got back out in this position. So let's hope she can hold on. Right, I'm going to go back to conserve on Dreyfus. She's easily got enough fuel to the end. Engine and gearbox are okay, so we can keep pushing on the fuel side. we should be fine till the end. Dreyfus has dropped back to 17th. Okay, Dreyfus has clearly made a mistake at some point. Under pressure. She is the first of our drivers to fall foul, because there's no other explanation of her going back from 10th, sorry, to 17th. We are on to the final lap. We'll go push and high for Eka. No, that's not Eka. Push and high for Eka. Dreyfus can do it as well, why not? And Eka's just got one long straight and a couple of corners, and she has got a cracking 5th place and some well needed points for the team. Just hold on, front wing, don't make a mistake, and we're across the line for 5th place in the race. Incredibly unlikely result. And Dreyfus crosses in 16th. That's a result that really is the result of just staying out there longer, really. That safety car really played into our hands. Of course, Eka hadn't pitted when the safety car came out. So that meant that she could make the stop when everybody else was going a little bit slower. Quite a few other cars made a third stop under the safety car as well, which I feel was a little bit of a mistake from the AI's part. But then we don't have that little tick box ticks now, do we? For a new playthrough of basically smart AI, which I can't believe is something you have to enable. It should just be... I mean, why would you not want smart AI? Or AI that makes proper tyre choices? But anyway... it's a pretty good result. 5th place. It's some more points in the bag. Every point is going to count at this point in the season. Remember, we're aiming for 6th place. So those 2 points will be crucial. It means Eka stays 2nd in the championship. She's a long way off runaway leader Jeremy Woodford in the Chariot Motor Group. Dreyfus drops to 6th. But it means we stay up there. We're still in 2nd. That crucial 6th place we've now got a 10-point lead on. First is not even something I'm considering at this point, but with a few more strong results we might be able to challenge for 3rd or 4th here, you never know. So I'm pretty glad. I'm pretty proud of Eka for getting that result. 5th place is good, couple of points in the bag. Hopefully starting to make some major performance updates to the car now. We'll just hang on to see how we did in terms of money for that race. Again, big improvements for Eka, not so big for Dreyfus. Again, sort of reiterating that we're probably going to be replacing Dreyfus at the end of the season, but not before. We'll give her the rest of the season for sure. So with the sponsor objective we make 197,000. So there's been a big loss somewhere per race. HQ might be because we made an HQ up, but we were making 500,000 per race. So I'm not entirely sure where that's come from. Anyway, we're still in the positive, and we can probably add a new part or two next race. So all is not lost anyway. Right, I am going to go bathe my throat in honey because this has been torture. Hopefully it hasn't sounded too bad. Hopefully it sounded a bit better with the new mic as well. Do let me know on the audio volume and stuff, the mixing, if that's okay for you. I won't make any promises as to live streams just yet. Let me know if you would prefer the challenge mode, apart from the impressions thing. If either, you might not want to see either. But if you maybe like to see that as a live stream, or as a separate Let's Play, just running each of the challenges. Some of them will only be a single race, some of them are half a season or up to a season. So let me know how you'd like to see those, if indeed you would. If you're enjoying the DLC and you played some of it, do let me know. And look out in the next few days for my gameplay and impressions on all of the updates in one single video. But as always, do hit that like button if you enjoyed the episode. Leave me a comment. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. That'd be much appreciated. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.